Hi guys, it's Bear. It is Friday, November 21st, 2014, and this is my 2 weeks on T update. There's not a heck of a lot to report as far as changes and so forth. Every time I'll have my dose, I'll get sort of some sensations in my throat, and for a couple of hours as I'm talking, my voice will kind of pitch higher, get a little thin and watery. I don't know if that's necessarily what you would call my voice cracking or changing, because I've actually never known a boy that's going through puberty, I guess, or I never paid attention to it. So that's about it. As far as updates go, it's been a really good couple of weeks as far as how I feel. I feel a lot more comfortable. I feel a lot more at ease for the most part. You know, there's been a couple instances of, life, I still have to go to work, I still have to go through life, and so sometimes you have good days, sometimes you have bad days. I don't feel like the tea is necessarily affecting that much of that. I haven't gotten crazy angry, although people want to say that I am. When I say like I'm having kind of a bad day or I'm feeling kind of like aggravated, people are like, oh, it's the tea. No, it's life. I have bad days. I get aggravated sometimes. So that's about it. In fact, if anything, I've really felt more mellow. There have been a couple of moments where I'm like, a little stressed out at work or whatever, and it's just like I feel a little bit more mellow about it. So that's my update as far as what my hormone replacement therapy is doing for me. I wanted to go ahead and address something in this video though, because it's been coming up a lot. Since I came out, people have been asking me two things, and I think they're really important, and I think it's time to address it. One is, when you transition, what will your name be? And two is, what pronouns would you like me to use? So let's talk about that. My name is Bear. My preferred name is Bear. My legal name will be Bear. The background on that is kind of a funny story. To tell it quickly, it comes from a spoof on Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, which is called Wizard People, Dear Reader. Look it up on YouTube. It's hysterical. But it's basically, a guy pretending to read the book on tape, and he uses alternate names for a lot of the characters, including Ronnie the Bear. My birth name is exceptionally feminine. It's never really fit me. It's an adjective, which is a word that describes something, and it describes the opposite of who I feel I am. It's really feminine. And so, one day, one of my friends turned around and called me the Bear, like sort of as though they were quoting this movie. And we all just sort of stopped and went, wow, that really fits. And it was at that point that my friends all started calling me the Bear. And I started introducing myself as Bear. So that was really 8-9 years ago, When I started school about 6 years ago, I went in and I introduced myself as Bear. And so there's actually a group of people that know me from school who didn't even know my birth name. And in fact, a couple of people have heard it used and been like, dude, is that your name? So that's where Bear comes from. I know that means that it's a nickname, and I've had a couple of people say, well, isn't that your nickname? Don't you want like a real name? Well, addressing that, I've looked it up. It is on the baby name registry. There are people out there whose name really is Bear, and whatever. Why do I need a typical male name? I like being called Bear. I think it really works for me, and it stands out, and I like standing out. I don't feel the need to mix into a crowd and be called, a typical male name. That being said, I am thinking about a middle name There's one that I really like, and I'm just curious, you know, if you're watching this and you're trans, and you've decided on a name, or if you're struggling to decide on a name, I'm interested in how that works for other people. So, you know, feel free to comment below and, you know, just share your story on how you decided on a name. But yeah, so over the course of the summer, I was really struggling with this, you know, and trying to decide, am I trans? And if so, is there anything that I want to do about it? Do I want to approach actual transition, or do I want to identify as transgender and, you know, just keep living my life the way I've been living it, which a lot of people do. There's a lot of different ways to approach being transgender. Some people change their name, some people don't. Some people get surgery, some people get hormone replacement therapy, some people do everything they can. It was pretty clear to me from the beginning that I needed to have top surgery. I have very bad top dysphoria as far as my breasts are concerned. So that was a really easy one, even before I really accepted being trans and came out. As I was struggling with that, back in around June or July, I decided I may or may not be trans, I may or may not come out, whatever, but I really need to start going by my preferred name as opposed to my birth name, you know. So that was one of my first steps, was to go around in July, I think, and just have a conversation with people, and it was a conversation I had a lot. Please use this name, please stop using this other name. And for the most part, people are on board with it. There are still people that go back and forth. That's normal. I'm not aggravated about it. There are a couple people that I've had to have a follow-up discussion and say, look, you know, you're not really using it, and it would mean a lot to me if you did. Again, not aggravated, just it's hard for people, you know, that have known you for a decade or more to change how they're addressing you. And that brings me to pronouns. When I came out, I accepted being trans in October, where I said out loud, I am transgender, and decided, you know, I wanted to be out. You know, again, a lot of people stay in the closet. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. I'm not that kind of person. I wanted to come out, so about 2 weeks after I said it out loud, I made a video, and I put it online, and I came out to the majority of my friends. People were really supportive, and people immediately started asking me, what pronouns would you like me to use? How would you like to be addressed? You know, and I was nervous about it. I wasn't really ready for it, you know, just being like, you know, I'm out and I want to be called he, you know, seemed really sudden to me. So I said, you know, let's go in steps, and let me have you call me they and them, and more gender neutral pronouns, because I, you know, didn't present as male. I hadn't started medically transitioning, so I didn't feel comfortable asking people to do that. Now it's only really a month later, and that has changed. So I wanted to go ahead and just address that. You know, I am going to start moving forward on male pronouns, so it's he, him, sir, and so forth. You know, it just feels right. You know, now that I'm out and I am saying, you know, I'm a transgender male, now that I'm approaching medical transition and have really started medical transition and feel different, it feels weird to be called she and her. And so I'm moving forward, you know. So this is the official announcement. It's not easy to make that shift, and I understand, you know. But I'm ready for it, and so I'm going to start asking people to call me by male pronouns. So this is the official announcement, I suppose. I know it's not easy. It takes some adjusting, just like it took people time to adjust to calling me bear. It's going to take time for people to adjust to calling me sir and he and him and so forth, and that's okay. Again, I appreciate people's support, and I appreciate people's efforts. You know, when people mess up and they call me by my birth name and correct themselves, that's kind of my go-to thing is, I appreciate your effort, no problem, you know, and it'll be the same thing with pronouns. So, that's it. That's all for my video today. Thank you so much, and I'll see you with another update soon.